All three. Let's see, I'll just slow start here. Okay, cool. Your first name is Sam.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get started here. And let's see who we have on the video. So Steve, or Rob Brown is on a plane. So may not be able to make it. We have, hi Caroline, how you doing?
Good morning, everybody. How are you guys?
Good. Let's see, do we have anybody else? The board members? Let's see on the,
No, sir.
missing, Ellie is out today. And then I think we're missing just Deidre, correct?
And Bill as well.
And Bill.
Bill's already.
Okay, we have a form, so we'll go ahead and get started here. Call to order. The minutes have been included in the board packet. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
A second. Any changes or any, additions we need? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, the chair report, it's just, we're like little kids looking out the window at construction, you know, it's so exciting to see that, and you just forget how big those buildings are and how impressive they are, so it's always good to see things coming out of the ground, and it's a lot of progress, so great work there, everything's going very well. Would like to also announce that Ernest and Kelly will be reappointed to the board. Ernest on it, but I said Ernest is too bad. We're like the mafia, you have to die to get off this board. So you're back on again. A great, obviously two great contributors. So thank you for agreeing to step up again. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it. The other thing I'd like to mention is that there was a video that I'd like to play for you that was on 9 News involving our own Sandra. And it's, and also the help of CSU. Thank you very much. I saw last night, I thought this was so impressive that we need to show the whole board that. Probably some of you have already seen it. But let's go ahead and play it.
Well, for so many, the dream of going to culinary school seems out of reach simply because they can't afford it. But there's a new group that's hoping to change that.
They're offering a crash course into the kitchen for Latino students of any age. And in today's Storytellers, Julie Ceresare shows us a group helping people carve a new path.
No neighborhood is built the same. For some, opportunities can't be found on every corner, but even the most neglected can house dreams.
Todas son 160 gramos. Okay.
In this kitchen, Sandra Ruiz Padilla
Es que mi español no es perfecto.
is cooking more than today's assignment.
Échale la leche, por favor.
She's creating hope.
We're making linguine and fettuccine with 2 different sauces. So it's important always to teach them different techniques, not just one technique or just one food from one country, but different from different countries. So they have that knowledge for their own businesses.
Sandra is the director of Sabor Comunitario. It's a community kitchen that offers a free 32-week program for Latinos. They learn skills to not just work in a kitchen, but to lead.
It's not about just cooking, but also how to guide them to open their own businesses, to have their own product, to launch their own product. So they're learning different things.
Trying to eat healthy in the kitchen is hard, but I mean, I try to make it work.
For Marcelo Montoya, this course makes sure his goals won't go on the back burner.
I definitely want to go up to like Michelin star restaurant, you know, work my way up. Being in this class kind of elevated my leadership, so I was able to help other people out in developing their skills in culinary.
It's those kinds of aspirations Sandra loves to see. Because she knows sometimes on these streets, plans for a better life can take a wrong turn.
In these 3 neighborhoods, we see our young people graduate and go to the streets because they cannot afford to go to a college. And we want to have the best for them.
For Sandra, it's painful to think about those that never had a chance. But dwelling on the past is no good when she has a few futures to prepare.
Como que va haciendo un rollito. We are capable of doing the same things as everyone else.
Sandra knows for these students, This is more
When I say this,
than a class.
you know, when I say this,
This could change lives and perspective. This could brighten the corners of a community filled with dreams.
That's my American dream, to see those changes, to see that I'm really doing a difference.
Right now, the program is 32 weeks long, but Sandra says that may change. Registration for the next free session opens up next month. They welcome people of any age to apply, and it's important to note that it is all in Spanish. So obviously you should understand Spanish if you're going to sign up for this program.
Wow. So I was asking how people find out about it right now. How are they getting the students in?
Yeah, it's a brand new organization.
Yeah.
It's actually their first session of this program. So right now it's been mainly word of mouth, right? Through some of those smaller organizations in those neighborhoods. We're talking Globeville, Elyria, Swansea, that area, 73% native of Latinos. So they know how important it is for that community.
3 Cs come to mind for me. One is 32 weeks, it's a commitment, but it's also the opportunity for a career and for culture as well.
Exactly. Marcelo, the individual we featured in this package, he comes from a Colombian background, but he says he is learning so much about Venezuelan food, Mexican food, and it's really opening him up to so many other things.
Great opportunity.
They'll be snatched up in the workforce, that's for sure. It's such a creative field. Good for them. That's great. Awesome. Thank you, Jaleesa.
Boys, like that, it's so impressive. Proud
Let me
of,
think, right?
your achievements, and also Jonathan, thanks for providing the space, and really, that's really critical. And I just, really appreciate Jonathan for.
Yes.
My Spanish isn't very good, so I probably can't take that class, but you kind of walk me through it. You did a great job of it. And that's really the highlight of my presentation, and top that, so, pretty great job, so. So we have Deidre. Hi, Deidre, got you on now? Okay, the CEO report, Brad?
Morning, everyone. Lots happening, of course. We're gonna cover the equestrian center and hotel in the executive session. We'll also, we can talk a little bit about up north. We are also gonna give you all a procurement update in executive session. We've been working through the ticketing RFP and some other things. Mentioned before, the district sign plan is underway. We're still working on our cell tower process, which will be south of the Cup. Our DAS system, you drove by the battery energy storage system, which is literally just south of the Cup building, is under construction right now. The concrete foundation is curing, and then they'll come back and start the vertical. And we're gonna be putting some campus signage on that building. We worked out a deal with Excel to put a large National Western Center logo on that south facade. So at least give us some entry signage there until we get to the more permanent signage up down the road. The events update, it's been busy, a lot happening on the campus in late August and September, and then you can see what's coming up between now and the time when we hand it over to WSSA for Stock Show 2025. We got a big 3-day conference coming the first week in November, Regenerate Conference, and Halloween is a big show. I think this is the 3rd year in a row we've done the Halloween show. So a lot happening and really diverse event types, from community events to entertainment events to music to education and corporate. So I think we're seeing some good results in that regard. Anthony, you want to give your community outreach update?
I think, attending the monthly meetings, and I think the rest of this I will, the community update is part of the agenda, so I can review it at that time.
On staffing and operations, I mentioned the procurements. We signed our new janitorial, and this is with an organization that is 100% local minority-owned business. I hope that will continue to increase our percentages of our spend on the campus with local small businesses. We'll go through ticketing and the rest of them in executive session. We are posting shortly our safety and sustainability position, which we hope to hire by the end of the year. We're posting shortly, maybe today or tomorrow, the community events and outreach manager position that is Anthony's replacement. And I do want to take a moment of personal privilege right now and just say thank you to Anthony for his incredible work. We've done a lot of things for the first time in the last 5 years, 6 years. And some of them are easy to do for the first time. Some of them are super complicated and nuanced to do for the first time. And standing up and creating the relationship with community, creating the culture of the rising tide of this project, lifting all boats, takes constant diligence and intention. And we have learned along the way, but the work that Anthony has led in the last 2 years leveled that up in ways that we had not been able to achieve prior to that. And Anthony's sixth sense about how to think about new opportunities with community and his ability to take a direction and see an opportunity and get it done has been just a joy to work with. And so I thank you so much. I was leading a lot of that and not able to spend enough time on it, and having Anthony in that role has just been really, really productive. And so I have given away a very few times. I just hit 6 years here. I think 3 times I have given away the Good Hand Award. And for those of you who know about ranching, the highest praise you can get, the only praise you get in a ranch is that person is a good hand. And what I give away for that is, I have these stars from a building that I renovated this one was from 1425 Washington. It was a 120-year-old building. And these are the things that hold the brick walls together. And I have a small collection of these, not very many of them, so I don't give them. Megan got one for District Energy. Steve got one for something. I don't remember what it was. It was really what was it? You got one.
I didn't get one.
Nice driver. You'll get one for Equestrian Center.
Okay, in 2028.
Thank you very much. Anthony is 25th, his last day in the office.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere.
But he has agreed to stay on contract for a bit, so we're really happy to be just that
At
way.
least the cow will leave.
Yeah.
As Anthony mentioned today, our format is facilities and community. Today is community, next month is facilities. Today Stock Show is doing their deep dive presentation in person. Oh shoot, what did I just lost it? And today we'll be doing the 2025 budget review. It was reviewed by Finance Committee on Monday, and the full board reviews today. Next month, we will start a land acknowledgement conversation for the campus, for the entire campus. So I think that'll be an exciting thing that Ernest will lead. That is my report.
Good. Any questions, Brett? So really, Brad, you've only given out 2 of those, not 3.
I did.
For Steve Lofton.
No, we did stickers. We did the stickers for our hard hats. Megan got one. I thought you got one for District Energy. Megan got one for Energy. We gave one away for the very first event we put on too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thanks, Brad.
But it's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. Okay, department reports, city council presentation was in the board packet. Any questions from Mike? So we'll talk about some of the construction issues, development issues in executive session. Colorado State University update provided by in the board packet. Any questions for Johnson? Again, Johnson, thanks for running the, you guys are kind of the unsung heroes out here, all the stuff you do to back up so many of these programs, so thanks a lot, appreciate it. The stock show presentation, Paul?
Yes, sir.
All yours.
Since we're deep diving today, I only have 75 bullet points here for all of you. Everybody get comfortable. We're gonna have a little fun here. All right, so I'll hit the first ones fairly quickly. Obviously stock show related. We're planning for the 25th show. Everything's going great. Ticket sales are through the roof, sponsorships at all-time high. So those are always my two first indicators. 26th show planning is underway for the grand opening. Doug and I are working tirelessly on a lot of that daily, along with some task teams that have been formed. One thing I want to point out is our lower barns, all of the animals that are down there will exit and come over here to the Sue Ann Chutes Rogers building. So we are planning on turning those lower barns into the biggest kid land area of all time. And it will be anchored by CSU Ag Adventure. And we've met with CSU on that, and they are excited to be able to expand Ag Adventure, number one. But we will have the largest petting zoo that's ever been done in Colorado. In fact, of our competitors, and they're our friends, not really our competitors. Houston has the largest one right now. It's 40 by 40. Ours will be 60 by 60. And we'll also have two different pony ride areas down there. And so we're busy planning all that out for those lower barns, because it will be about 100 times easier to get there for a person with a stroller than it is to get to our third level right now. People have to basically carry those strollers up our gigantic stairs or wait for 20 minutes to get on that elevator, because we just don't have enough elevators, right? So this will be an easy way in, easy way out, and that'll be in 26. So anyway, we're excited about that. And then briefly on the legacy capital campaign, we're currently sitting about 120 million. We've revised the goal for a target 150 million. And we're gonna do a deep dive into the legacy building today. And we're gonna show you, because design has evolved so much in the last couple months between Doug and Pete Coors and Angela Lawrence and we've looked at all kinds of things. So I want to share those deep design on the legacy building with you today. So I think you guys have to switch to your next PowerPoint, or maybe you merged them. I don't know how you do these things.
I did not merge them.
Okay.
One was a PowerPoint and the other was a PDF.
Right,
so.
yeah, I figured it couldn't be done. So anyway, we're just gonna go through legacy here quickly and talk about the various areas that are gonna be in the building that both can be used for, obviously, people's rental as well as people's ability to even support the community in some of these areas. So that will be something that we're exploring with Sandra, Ernest, and others, and Caroline, for sure. All right, so you've seen the outside of the building from the southwest perspective, so you can roll to the next slide. Okay, that's just obviously main entrance still. You're looking across from the CSU building, really, and across from the live exchange. Front, we talked about, and their service to this country. Okay, you can keep rolling. All right, so there's the inside, first renderings of the inside of the new bar that will be on that lower plaza area. So that will be accessible. We haven't decided whether it's an all, is it open every day? Is it only open event day? Those are things that are coming. You can get about 100 people inside, and then if we spill out on the plaza, probably another 40 or so that we could do out there within a confined area. So you can see an Angus and a Hereford head will be at the bar because Angus and Hereford are historically the two biggest breeds in the National Western Stock Show. All the things you see on the wall are various markers of our history since 1906 forward. Okay, go next one. That's a mainly a good picture of the ceiling there. You can see that, ceiling, I think did we decide on copper? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Doug? Yeah.
Well, it's not copper, but it's tin.
Yeah, tin type of ceiling. So that I think will really be a pretty unique feature in there. And, the bar itself will be very unique as well.
This whole side, when we talked to the designer, he said, go back to every photo you've ever seen of a saloon or bar in the late 1800s, whatever. And so the images that you think about will incorporate it in every detail of this saloon, and it will have a great heritage, great history associated with it.
And I think I said this before, we plan on putting an old time piano player over in the corner. You know, not every day, all day, but every now and then at specific times. So, you know, with that old time hat on and tickling the keys, it'll be fun. So, okay, you can go next slide. Another view, you can kind of see where the piano is over in that corner. And those of you that think you can tickle the keys, please come forward.
Sign up.
We'll see. All right, there's the front lobby entrance of the new legacy building, so that's coming along very nicely. We'll go next. There is the reception desk and the Wold Family Heritage Center, so you'll go in through that entrance if you want to go in and check out all the artifacts from 1906 forward. Okay. That, I believe, is the Jones family fireplace, if I'm not mistaken, so that'll be, and you can see the Wilson Art Gallery, Catherine and Robert Wilson Art Gallery, which will feature our all our art that's in the National Western Collection, which is from the Coors Western Art Show. Okay, you can go next. Now you're in the lobby pre-function of level 2, so you're up on the second level where the American Values Conference Center is. This is kind of the lobby that leads into that. You can see right now we're adorning it with some saddles and so forth, having a sitting area there too. Next slide. This is still on level 2 by the American Values Conference Center. This is known as the Saddle Bar. So there will be a bar right there that has lots of historic saddles in it. Maybe even the one that I broke my pelvis on. Why not put the pelvis breaker out there? I
No,
really?
Oh, no.
Do it. I told that to Angela. She looked at me like I was crazy, but who knows? I don't know. Okay, keep rolling. That's just a kind of another angle of the saddle bar, and you can kind of see what they're doing for treatments on that. Pre-function, some of the stained wood, so just imagine, that is a giant hallway for pre-function, by the way. We can do separate events in there that have nothing to do with what's in the American Values Conference Center if we like, so it's all good. Okay, keep rolling. All right, that's just some of the stained wood that is still a pre-function area.
And the brands.
Yeah, and the brands, you can see the brands that are on the doors. Those doors are gigantic, by the way, so, yep. Okay, keep rolling. Another pre-function brand bar, so that bar, the only difference between that bar and the saddle bar is there's no saddles there, and this has a bunch of brands, historic brands that are going to be featured in there. So we got lots of bars, guys, so you're gonna see
Eight bars.
Yeah, yeah, so, and those are some of the brands that may be hanging there, so
That is true.
keep rolling through that. All right, and we are on level 4 now, which is the club level, so we're up there, the brand bar is on that level, and you can see kind of how the treatments are, the NW logo. Keep it simple, but also have some fun at it. Okay, you can keep rolling. Here's the initial shots of the club. We've kind of refined the club a little bit from the ceiling down. Probably get around 700-ish seated in there. And that's not using the pre-function space of the club. Okay, keep rolling.
Those aren't the same chairs, are they?
Not the same chairs, no, sir.
You're gonna miss those chairs, aren't you?
And in fact, these are just kind of in there for a placeholder, honestly. We haven't really decided what those chairs are gonna be yet, but you can see this is a big, kind of wide area, so. Okay, you can keep rolling. And that's the club extension, so that is the area when you see our building out the window here, there's a bank of windows that look into the arena. That's what you're looking at here. So in that extension area, those windows see into the Sioux Indian Chiefs Riders Livestock Center. Okay, you can go next slide. Okay, again, that's just another angle for the club extension. Executive dining room. So that is, the replacement for what's currently in the club. That has the pictures of the past presidents and, I think Pat and Carla Grant have named that area if I'm not mistaken, so. Okay, so just another offshoot of the club that can be rented separately. Okay, keep rolling. And the rodeo bar, why not have a rodeo bar? So there'll be, you can see items featured there that are rodeo items will be celebrated in that rodeo bar area. Okay, and then the next bar is the spur bar. So again, you're seeing a theme here. In this one, you know, spurs of all kinds may be featured in there. We had someone donate us, I don't know, about 1,000 different spurs out of their collection, and we'll have to figure out how we use some of those, but spur bar will be fun. And the Legends Bar, so some of the historic figures in stock shows past, you've got a lot of those that can go in there. We're really in a rotating fashion, I think, in the Legends Bar, so. Okay, keep rolling. The Yard Bar, so this is using all the materials from the stockyards and showing what the stockyards looked like historically prior to us building a bunch of buildings over the top of them. Okay, next bar. Western Lounge, again, so we got another bar. It's the Western Lounge looking north. And this is a much bigger room. So again, we have another room we can rent in here, which will be advantageous when we're not renting the club. Because somebody has a smaller event need, we can put them in the Western Lounge. Okay, next slide. That's another one looking south of the Western Lounge. And the Legacy Club Bar, so this is kind of the place where right now the members gather in the bar in the club. So this is a much bigger experience, the members bar here, so. Okay, next one.
Where do they hold the AA meetings here?
Yeah. You make a very good point.
You have to say, meet me at the bar.
Yeah, yeah, you can't because there's 8 of them. All right, so level 4 West Terrace, this is the Coors Family Terrace, and that sign that's in the background, we think was around 1950. And it's been sitting in our storage in a storage facility over here, probably since 1950. We renovated it, it's gonna be hung there, and it used to adorn the front of the stock show ground at some point in time based on our look at pictures, so. And you can see we're gonna have, I think, 3 giant fireplaces out there. And remember, this is a terrace that's covered, but it's not enclosed, so you do have open air coming in there. All right, that's probably getting close to the end.
I think that's it.
That was it. I got you guys through 150 slides in just a matter of minutes. I think it was really closer to 40, but I'm rounding up, so. All right, any questions on that? We're excited about that, and we're happy to say we're on time and everything's going as good as construction can go. Keeping pace with the Sue Ann Schutz Rogers opening, which again will be October, November of 2025, so just about a year from now.
Really classy. Looks really classy.
It's gonna be as good as tribal architects can build, let me tell you, along with our friends from Saunders.
It'll be one of a kind.
Yeah.
How are those spaces gonna be available for the community?
Yeah.
They're available for rent, it's a revenue source for us, so there's a lot of different rooms and there's gonna be someone responsible for that.
Right, and there could be possible times when we know that maybe the community could use it, Sandra, that we wouldn't have to do that, but, you know, high peak times, we're gonna have to have, you know, rentals, because that's how the building's getting funded, but.
Yeah.
But there's other opportunities to do community things in there too, like tours and the rest of it, so. Yep. Yeah.
May I share that presentation with Sage Hospitality?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So they get a sense of.
Yeah.
There will be bars in the hotel too.
Yeah. No, it would be good for them to understand what we're doing there, so. And you know, Jenna has it, right, so you can just.
It looks like Deidre has her.
Her husband is.
Okay.
My turn?
Yep.
Well, first of all, Paul and Doug, congratulations. It's a gorgeous facility. I can't imagine how proud you and your board must be. It looks great. And your fundraising efforts have been nothing short of monumental, so congratulations. It's none of my business to ask, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Have you, as part of the decor or the artwork that you're going to feature, had any conversations about what I'm guessing is the diversity that the stock show has over the years? Black cowboys, indigenous people, any of that? Have you talked about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we've been the trendsetter in diversity across specifically rodeo, Deidre, I mean, we're, if not the first, and I'm pretty sure we were the first to ever do an MLK rodeo. And obviously, we have Hispanic Heritage Day at the National Western, and we have two amazing sold out every year, Hispanic, the Western extravaganza with Jerry Diaz and his group. So certainly the history of the Mexican cowboy and the history of the Black cowboy will be interweaved throughout a lot of the areas that you saw.
Well, as a patron, that makes me really proud.
Well, yeah, we're proud of our history that really started here in Denver, Colorado. And then, others have really embraced it across rodeo, across other parts of the country. Fort Worth came out right after us with an MLK celebration. And so, we were very proud, and that was really led by Pat Grant at the time, to be one of the leaders of, both the Hispanic Heritage celebration as well as the African American, and we're starting to get more active in, Doug and I both have a passion for the history of the Native American here. And so we're trying to, as the complex allows us to expand, yes, all the board, we're trying to find a way to more celebrate that history of the, of the indigenous people here on site. So we are going to be working with, frankly, I'm going to be reaching out to Ernest, and he and I have had some conversations, but will engage others about how we can do that, given there are space limitations here, so.
I think it'll boost your revenue streams for people to go through it and see reflections of themselves everywhere. I think you'll get events who are interested, and I think it'll support your revenue stream. But on an emotional level, it makes me proud to hear that.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Are you gonna have like art mural inside?
I don't think inside the legacy building that there will be much art murals. Western heritage stuff is.
There's gonna be in the club.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some acoustical panels, which will be art. Photos of art that will be superimposed on the acoustical panels. There'll be some big, very large landscape kind of murals on acoustical murals. And there'll be other pieces of art throughout, yes. But that's not what we're doing.
And then the 80 or so pieces that we have from the Western collection that we own will be featured in there daily on the art side.
Ernest,
Yeah, I think Deidre, you bring up a really good point. And I think this is a conversation, I know I've done a presentation in front of the board around the conversation. I think not just in Colorado that we've seen, not just in the work that I've seen on the Western slope, but really how to engage tribal nations moving into the future. And I think that especially when we look at something like this now, National Indian Finals Rodeo has always been a big player. I think Paul and the rodeo have always consistently invited the top indigenous cowboys, cowgirls that compete in NFIR to Colorado events, maybe just recently at the.
Yeah, we had them at All Rodeo
All-Star Rodeo All-Star that they've had recently. But the point is, there's a lot of tribal nations that still are highly involved in rodeo. And I think also too, with some of the rodeos on tribal land up in the north and northwest, and especially in Canada, there's we've had these conversations around other events that might be able to pull down. One thing that I think is interesting to include in this conversation is, as you think about art, and I know that this is planned out years ago, and we've talked about this on our own campus, but there's so many more indigenous artists out there that, if you do have an open space, would love for you to consider having indigenous art be a part of that from indigenous artists. And I know the like history of just the Western experience, a lot of times there did not, it was about Native Americans. It was about this mythic, kind of mystic kind of stuff. And I'm not talking about, the dances with wolves, wind in the hair kind of thing, because I think there's things that gravitate towards that. But I think that there's many more opportunities, I think, and really powerful indigenous artists that bring that type of perspective to indigenous art for this time period. So I think there's a lot of great opportunities, and I think we're looking forward to have that. I know just recently, earlier this week, there was a conversation at city council around land acknowledgements. And I've told this board before, and I would say the same thing to the stock show, to anybody that, land acknowledgements mean more than just the words that are put on a sign or a video. And I think what the campus, the authority, we have a really great opportunity to not only just put meaning behind those words, but put the connections behind what they mean. And I think we've been waiting to have this conversation of what the buildings are gonna look like, what the footprint was gonna look like. But just look forward to having that conversation as we move forward with this.
We will have, as Paul mentioned, that new art gallery, which will be doing exhibits throughout the year, so that's a perfect
Right.
opportunity for us to.
That'd be
Yeah, that
cool.
would be great to be able to celebrate that.
Hey, Ernest, do you think the facility would be big enough to hold that res 24, I guess 25, 26, I'm sure 25 is already planned, but do you think it'd be big enough to hold that group?
Not only the Reservation Economic Summit is one of the national conventions held in Las Vegas every year. But I would make a pitch to National Indian Finals Rodeo from Las Vegas to be hosted here in Denver.
This is all done, we will have the combined facilities to do that very thing. In fact, we've got these breed associations, Angus, Hereford, who are saying, we want to do our national conventions here with all,
Right.
the Legacy Building, the Livestock Center, they put all that's here, this is gonna be a destination point.
Thanks, Ernest, good comments. Paul, great job.
Thank you.
Great job in the fundraising. I know it's consumed your life for the last couple of years.
Couple of years.
It's a great addition to the campus, so thank you very much. And thank you for being so thoughtful about who actually gets included in this thing. That's really important. Like Ernest was saying, it's not just plaques and the words, it's gotta go beyond that, so. Thank you, Paul. Community update? We have the update provided during the board meeting.
I'll jump in real quick with a short update. This one is about the Tepeyac Community Health Center fundraiser that we had just a couple weeks ago. I am looking at my numbers right now, and I am really happy to announce that we raised $399,356. Really close to hitting that $400,000 mark. I'm not sure if that has been met since this email went out. It was sent out on Friday of last week, so it might have already hit the $400,000 mark. Really excited to have hit those numbers. I was at the event. It was a lot of fun. Not sure if anybody else here attended. If so, I'm so sorry to have missed you. I was kind of running around all over the place looking for people and really just having a good time. So great event. Looking forward to all the future events with Tepeyac. We'll have this event again next year, of course. So if you missed it this year, it's not the only one. You'll have another chance next year. And then, of course, in the spring, we also do the Tortillas for Tepeyac event.
Any questions for Caroline?
Caroline, if you're really at $399, I'll take you to 400, so let me know how short you are.
It's fantastic news.
For 400 and $399, so email me.
Right, yeah, I'll put the link for the donations into the chat here in just a minute, and then if that's not a good way to get the link for everybody, I'll see if I can go ahead and send the email out and give that information to everyone via email instead.
Okay. Sounds like a political type announcement, Caroline. Text like this, we're $10 short of our goal.
I know, right?
Yeah, or goes away this afternoon.
Operators are standing.
Right on the edge, close to a net number.
Thanks, Caroline.
And I have also two announcements. One is for the Dia de los Muertos. Day of the Dead that is gonna be at CSU. I wanna thank Jocelyn also, and her staff that having working with our comunitario. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be in this program, we wouldn't have this program. So thank you for the support and everything you guys doing for us. And also, we're gonna do the Dia de los Muertos at CSU Spurt, November 9th. From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're still looking for donations, for all the material decorations that we're gonna be having there. We already got sponsorship from National Western Center, thank you, and also from CSU. But we still need more donations if you wanna donate, even materials or whatever, for the flowers. We're planning on creating 5,000 paper flowers to decorate the 3 buildings. So we started already doing all the flowers, but a lot of flowers. And we're gonna have different activities. We're gonna have Aztec dances. We're gonna have a special dance, the calaveras, garbanceras, which is La Catrina. And we're gonna have a Spanish rock band, se llama ¿qué? James Band. And they're very known here in Colorado as a Spanish rock band. They're gonna be playing there too. So we're gonna have different activities for the whole family. So, we need your support to do this event. And also, last year we cooked 600 chickens to do for Thanksgiving. We gave away 600 boxes of whole chickens, which my son Isaac cooked them all from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Cooking those 600 chickens, grilling them because he grilled them. And it was a very successful event. So we're now looking also for donations for chickens or funds to be able to have that again for the community. We gave 600 dinners for 600 families in the community. So again, we're looking for donations. I will send an email to everyone for the different donations. And that's gonna be for Thanksgiving. But we started to do those things so we can have everything ready by then. And also, Sabor Comunitario, we extended the program to the end of December. Since we're still working on the entrepreneurship part of the program, we need more time to be able to accomplish that. And then we're gonna have a graduation ceremony. Probably we're gonna do a dinner and invite you all. Again, also, I met with 2 chefs from SSA Group that also are interested in supporting the program. They want to train the participants. They invite us to the kitchen at the complex for a tour this Monday. They're interested in working with the participants, also giving them jobs during the stock show. So there's a lot of opportunities there also for the students that are from Sabor Comunitario. We have been invited to different also events to do the catering. So we're also excited about that because now we're getting that response. So, and everything happened this week. So it's been a good week, I think. So that's all. Thank you.
Any questions from them? You don't sound like you're very busy, so. Okay, squeeze it all into one day. Basically, everything. Okay, that's the partner reports. The community reports, the financial, we had a finance meeting this week. We actually discussed the budget, but Stephen, you want to, any highlights, sir?
The finance committee met last Monday and reviewed the third quarter financial performance of the authority as of September 30th. And also some comments about where we're forecasting to finish as of December 31st. Revenue was running as of the third quarter about 82% of budget, and expenses were just below 70%. Given underperformance on event revenue, which will fall about $500,000 short of budget and $500,000 short on the bottom line, we will, where we started with a balanced budget for the year, finish with a deficit we're forecasting of about $150,000 to $200,000. That shortfall in revenue on events is cushioned by an underspend on the facility side, mainly in security, which we didn't go to 3 8-hour shifts until the second quarter, and we budgeted for the full year, and snow removal, but I keep saying that, and November's around the corner, so I should shut my big mouth. Hopefully it won't, hopefully we'll stay that. Landscaping, which we were underspent on, is really caught up because we've been spending a considerable amount with our partner Elite on campus-wide landscaping. We're 4 times as much year over year on landscaping expenses, over $100,000 this summer on landscaping expenditures. So it's significant as our responsibilities have broadened with campus-wide services, including landscaping, considerable expense. And lastly, I would just like to hand out a kudos to Ryan Maher, our new event coordinator who started this summer. And right now he's probably enjoying a dal makhani in Delhi because he's still in India. But I complain a lot about these fighting events that we have. And 2 of the bare knuckle clients were delinquent in their payments. One, we were thinking we were going to have to write off almost $2,000 in a receivable that they refused to pay and refused to answer. And then another one, almost $8,000 from the summer. Ryan got on this like a dog on a bone when he heard me complaining about not only these events, but not paying their bills. And creatively called the state of Colorado commissioner who regulates these fighting events, told them about these clients of ours, which are fighting regulated by this commissioner. And lo and behold, within a week, we had 2 checks delivered to the authority here in full for both. So kudos to Ryan. I think I owe him a lunch when he gets back. And that's it for the financial reporting for the third
Well,
quarter.
those spare local guys won't pay. I'm gonna send Paul and Doug to quit. I mean, that is just not acceptable. Okay. So, good job. Any comments to call it off the budget? I know you deal with 1,000 budgets at the city.
We are also running behind on snow removal, so we are also keeping our fingers crossed, but no, that was a great summary. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Steve. And we'll talk more about the budget. In executive session, there's some issues about procurement and confidentiality. Obviously, no decisions were made during executive session. Some discussions take place. With the campus services and partnerships, the update was provided in the board packet. Any comments or questions there? And the community benefits was also provided in the board packets. Any comments or questions? Okay, National Western Center Community Update.
All right, I guess that's me. I just, my emotions are all over the place this morning for some reason, but, just wanted to just say thank you. It has been, a joy being here. I've spent almost 6 years working, in the neighborhoods of Globeville, area, Swansea. And, when I began in, the fall of 2019, I did this 90-day listening tour because I did not know the community. I didn't know who people were. I wanted to be mindful not to bring my lived experience to the community. And I just listened. And, one of the takeaways almost 6 years ago was the community did not feel this campus is for them. And then at that time, I was like, what a shame, because it's in their backyard. They can literally, we're creating the connectivity so that they can walk to it, they can bike to it, and if needed, they can drive to it. I would say that in the past 6 years that has shifted. And it's because we are opening up the campus. We're hosting community-wide events. And that's thanks to Brad's leadership, letting me take chances and letting me do things. And it's also, I have not sat around a board table where community is talked about as much as it has been at this table. And so I just want to offer kudos to all of you. And it's also, the great thing is it's not superficial. It's not, it's not checking a box. That is not the mentality that this board or this organization has as it approaches community outreach and engagement. And, it's been a real joy. It's been incredible to see the work that Steve's doing with the task force and bringing sketches and ideas to community members and actually listening to them. And they say, we don't like that, or where's the color? Where's the vibrancy? This doesn't look like our community. And we hosted a task force meeting last night, and they brought more renderings and more color. And it's just been refreshing to see that we don't come, after coming from, this isn't a dig at the city, but having worked there for 20 years, it is. So let me preface it with that. Usually,
Careful, the cold,
when-
you'll be upset.
when the city, and I'm guilty of this as well, is when the city would conduct community outreach, we would go to them and say, what do you think? Basically, here's the baked cake. What do you think? Well, what's the point in giving my input? You already presented me with what it's going to be. So what's the point? And the fact that through this entire RFP process with the equestrian center and the hotel, all of the ideas were included in the RFP. Community is absolutely at this table. And so I just want to say that it's been a joy to be a part of traveling this journey with the community the past 6 years. So, all right, so that's my report. I don't think I want to say anything else now. But no, we do have some updates on the community impact. So why don't we start? So, again, we created these pillars for how we would be a champion for the community. And I will say, NUCO and the authority did a presentation at Budget and Policy on Monday, and City Council, right? So City Council is aware of how we are being champions for the community. So, it's creating jobs, advocating, partnering, participating in convening community, providing direct technical and financial assistance, and innovating with sustainability. Next slide. So around the jobs, so 650 jobs have been created, 290 in 2024 alone, and projecting 69% of all campus-wide services spent with local, small, disadvantaged, minority, women-owned businesses. Year to date is 60%. This is happening because of the great partnership we have with community wealth building. In addition to working with Jessica on the procurements, we've hosted the last couple of years his Eat Local Food event, SYEC, that's been a really amazing success. Intentional procurements. The other thing that's really what we do well is we try to have a community board member on each procurement, and we also try to have a community member on each procurement. So it's working, and people are watching. We're in the process of partnering with Vito to create a case study on this procurement process. So again, success. Next slide. So advocating, we'll continue to work with NUCO on the Federal Reconnecting Communities Grant. Definitely working with the mayor's office on homelessness issues, on safety issues, and then collaborating with DOTI, OCBE, and NUCO. They've kind of revamped this GES area program of projects, which I will toot my own horn here, which I helped create when I was with OCBE back in 2017. Because what the city wasn't doing was DOTI was have all of these project managers and all of these projects, and people weren't talking to each other. And then we were individually going out to community and creating community fatigue. So now it is a coordinated effort. It used to be the Washington area program of projects, but because of its expansion, it's now the GES area program of projects. So that is continuing and will continue. And we'll definitely be a part of all of those meetings and at the table so that we can inform and educate community when we're in community. Next slide. Just some amazing partners that we've been able to create over the past couple of years. This list will continue to grow. But it just shows that we are partnering and convening community. Next slide. So to date this year, we've participated in 25 community events and engaged over 750 community members, and that's through tabling the various events. Next slide. Our community advisory committee continues to meet on a monthly basis. They are also receiving all of the updates from the Equestrian Center Hotel, so it's another touch point. They continue to stay engaged, and continue to push back when we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. So, next slide. So engaging community through campus, which I talked about earlier. So our Earth Day celebration, the home ownership workshop, the Tianguis Festival in August. Obviously, I just mentioned our Eat Local Food. Our second annual GES Halloween Trunk or Treat event is scheduled for October 30th. Was able to raise about $5,000 in sponsorship to help underwrite the costs of all of the extracurricular activities that we'll be hosting. Very cool. I love being me sometimes, I will say. Just got a text from the mayor's office that he wants to come to the trunk or treat and figure out how to pass out candy. So that was new and that was pretty cool just to receive that as I was sitting here right now. So yeah, it's just wonderful. And it's such an amazing event for the community. And then, you know, distributing tickets to all the public events. We've distributed 450 tickets thus far to the events that are hosted on the campus. This is something that I'm going to continue to work on as I become a contract employee for the next, to the end of the year. It's the 2025 stock show. So I will be coordinating with Garden Place and Swansea Elementary, our entry into the stock show parade. Thank you to Doug and Paul for again providing that parade entry. I'm working on sponsorships right now. Thank you, Mark, for your sponsorship. Hopefully, thank you, John. But again, the goal is to raise at least $20,000 in sponsorship.
No, that's, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know why I put on the spot.
Like you just made a face at it.
Yeah, who did? Somebody did? Oh, well, blame me. But yeah, the hope is to raise $20,000, like we did last year, to provide at least 250 complimentary stock show tickets to 5 or 6 rodeo events. It includes food vouchers as well. And thank you again to Paul for working with us to provide, I don't know if it's okay to say, but discounted tickets that are really, really great seats. You know, the great thing too is, you know, you don't give community a ticket and then you put them in the nosebleed section, right? That's not authentic, right? I mean, it's a free ticket, yes, but we want them to really experience it. And the tickets that the community received last year from the stock show, they were amazing seats. So thank you to Paul and to Doug and your board. We'll again promote the community day and work on the community reception and rodeo as we did last year. Next slide. So technical assistance, this is working with the Community Investment Fund. As you know, the technical assistance grant from the city that was distributed last year, they provided $86,000 in grants to organizations and entities in 80216. Hosted the grantee reception in June of this year. The authority provided the 2024 grant in the amount of $90,000. And projected contribution in 2025 is going to be $150,000. So that continues to increase. We continue to have conversations with the committee on other revenue streams and ideas to raise additional funds for the Community Investment Fund. They are currently having ongoing conversations with their grantees, and they just added 2 new committee members. Slide. So sponsored and fundraised more than 20 events. This number will really grow. It'll probably double before I leave at the end of the year, but $28,000 in direct financial support to community partners and organizations. Next slide. And then again, as I mentioned, just the outreach that has been done to date on the Equestrian Center hotel process. And the task force continues to meet on a monthly basis with Steve and with the design team as well. And then you've already seen just sort of all of the outreach that we did as part of the kickoff for the community conversations around the Equestrian Center Hotel. Next slide. And then innovating through health and sustainability, obviously the district energy system, ongoing conversations with Farm Box. Compost Colorado is now on the campus. Brad has already mentioned the BESS. And then the solar gardens, saved, underserved communities, 250,000 kilowatts. Almost $8,000 was sent back to the grid. And then activating the riverfront, Omar is doing an amazing job partnering and working with the Mile High Flood District on the river care. I don't know if you've seen, he said this at our team huddle this week, but if you walk on National Western Central Drive, you can actually now see the river. All of the gunk and whatever is no longer there. So I would, if you are so inclined, take a walk to the riverfront and take a look. Next slide. Yep. So that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, questions for Anthony? Yes, we'll go there. Where's the farm box gonna be located?
Where,
The farm box is
where?
in its current location. It's right on the
So
edge.
let me rephrase, where's the farm box's current location?
To answer that question, it's on the north edge of the North Plaza, which is north of the Stockyards Event Center. So it's basically where the pavers of the Stockyards Event Center plaza turn into the yards.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's north of that.
It's sort of southeast edge of the yard.
about right there.
Thank you.
The reason for that location is, it can stay there year round and doesn't interrupt operations for our event and more importantly, operations of the yards during Stop Show.
I missed a couple more updates, Mr. Chair. So we have purchased tables for Boots in Business. So I'll be coordinating, you'll get an invitation if you'd like to sit at the National Western Center Authority table and also the Citizen of the West dinner. So we'll be receiving correspondence from me on both of those events. As Stock Show right around the corner.
Who the owner this year, Citizen of the West? Who the owner?
This is Sharon Magnus Blake.
Sure, Mike, that's right.
Is the Citizen of the West, yeah.
Great. Thank you, Anthony. Any questions for Anthony? Great, thank you. The public comment. Do we have anybody on the line who'd like to comment?
We do have a couple members of the public on the board meeting.
Okay.
Would you please raise your hand if you have any comments or questions?
Any comments from anybody in the public? Okay, seeing no comments. We'll go ahead and close the public comment part. Do you have a motion to go into executive session? So moved. So I have a second. Mark?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.